Someone told me this is one of the hardest campaigns in Total War Warhammer 3, and I would tend to disagree. Khalida is extremely powerful, and let's make it easy. The first thing you need to understand is her archers are insanely strong, so you can just press this button repeatedly for the first 4 or 5 turns. And use the method popularized by Dr. Bitchslap, which is...
Tell us about your method, Dr. Bitchslap.
Well, Samantha, I call it the bitch slap method, and I think it's absolutely the most effective method for solving problems.
All your problems will be solved by auto-resolving through your initial campaign battles. So Doomglade over here, you've auto-solved your first battle, you auto-resolve Doomglade, and you get Doomglade. And this is absolutely fine. Keep recruiting units. I would recommend to have around 8 archers, and the rest being a mixture of whatever best units you have or availability. Get rid of the horse archers as fast as possible, and upgrade your heroes. Now, you can choose either going first or second dynasty. I would recommend second dynasty, although the first dynasty gives you decent buffs, but the second dynasty gives you a buff towards your archers, damage, and amount of ammo. Turn 2, just go in send mode, send encampment over this area and finish recruiting. It's important you have 20 units for the next turn, and just auto-resolve the fight at Rosetta. Hopefully you have enough gold this turn to get the incantation that you need to basically get your disco going, but it might not be the case. In this case, I just had a few hundred gold less, so I just waited for the next turn. Great incantation of Tato gives you the Casket of Souls, so disband the unit and recruit it. This is imperative to make your army as strong as possible. Now, this area, it will diverge. It's different on every try I did, but go over there and hide in ambush. If you are discovered, the enemy army will just retreat. If you're not discovered, it might choose to cross over you, or in this case, it went to Granite Massif and occupied it. This, in my opinion, is the second best option, because if you ambush them, it's an even easier fight. But guess what? You can just go to Granite Massif after you upgrade everything, and you're going to be able to carry out the strategy of auto-resolving this fight. Because this is the hardest campaign ever, and the hardest campaigns obviously need to be auto-resolvable in all cases. Keep in mind, this is playing on Legendary. You will use a few units, but you don't give a crap. Tomb Kings get free units, they pay no upkeep, and you recruit them really fast. Turn 5 is done. Turn 6, you do the same thing. You go to Matrak and you auto-resolve yet again, occupy the settlement, and start re-recruiting. At this point, you've pretty much finished your early game, and you could stop watching this guide and go and start playing in a different manner. However, a number of you asked me to give longer guides, so I've decided to show where and how I will go following this. We have a large number of land. I'm choosing to ignore all of it and focus on getting Lamia. The rest of the Walking Crater and the Granite Massif and Markracht, I'm just ignoring. Keep recruiting and fixing my army according to what I believe is a good balance after the losses I took, because you need time. Turn 7, in fact, you just get stuck here waiting to attack Lamia, and you will not have much choice. Turn 8, you attack Lamia, and this is essentially the first battle that you have to manually fight. Great thing about these cities that now we've been playing Warhammer 3 for a while, they all have their blind spots, and we can do something called a cheesily cheese. We can make nice cheese by attacking from this corner with our archers. So you break down the wall using your artillery, which you have ample of, and then since they're vampires, then they cannot shoot back, and in this area it's a bit of a gray zone because there's nothing that can shoot at you, not even the indestructible constantly being rebuilt towers. You then use Khalida and your Lich Priest to just lure the enemy outside, or else just shoot them inside where you have Khalida, making them bunch up, and use your artillery to take them out. In a while, you'll probably run out of ammo. That's absolutely okay. Towards the end of the battle, you will be able to charge in, and they have very little resistance left. I would focus my archers if I was playing it again on the vampires and the heroes that they had, because they were the ones that did the most damage to my army. But in truth, it was very, very easy fight. Just takes a bit of time, and you need, you know, to take it easy. Rushing it, charging into walls when they have the advantage, there's no point in it. You're going to weaken your army, and this is something that you need to take in consideration with the Tomb Kings. Take it slow. Your army, the slower you take it, the faster you'll go. If you keep destroying your armies for no reason, for little gain, then you're not going to be able to do much. But if you take your time and strike at the right moment, you'll be able to advance and expand at an extremely fast rate. Use a little bit of cheese, use a little bit of tricks, and you'll be doing great. As you see here, charge in with the spears at the end, and they're just beating up the very heavily weakened units. We're absolutely okay in that regard. Following the capture of this settlement, you have now your main area of expansion. This is the most important settlement for you for a number of reasons. One, it is extremely well defendable, well defended. It has very good economy, and even though the region is a little bit fucked because it is spread across a long line, it's not really consolidated, but Lamia allows you to launch assaults in any direction you want. And what direction I chose is to, when it comes to choosing the servants, you can choose whatever you want. I went for the Tomb Prince for a stronger front line. Now, the biggest contender in this area is Queek. Absolutely, Queek is your biggest issue, and I spent my next few turns readying to fight him. You could go and take out Torgrim. I forgot his name. Torek, yes, Torek. But I tried to make him my ally. I do so by trying to trade Grand Massif and Matrak to them and just win his favor. I do so slowly, and he still declares war on me, but doesn't really attack me because he likes me very much, and eventually we'll make peace. Just keep him on your good side because he will protect you from the flanking of the other Tomb Kings and of the Bloodthirsters of Khorne. And from the south, you have the lizards, but if you don't expand south, they will not really bother you, so you're absolutely okay. As I was saying, you don't really need an economy with the Tomb King, so this is absolutely fine. And most importantly, you're going to be fighting in the mountains here for two reasons. One, you're going to gain a lot of carnal necrotects, which will give you a lot of reduction costs that you're gonna need. And as again you can see here, we're fighting clan Moors. We can easily auto-resolve this fight because so early in the campaign they're basically just using super simple units. So auto yourself. I tried to see if I could fight 2 battles here, but it didn't manage, so I was like, yep, you know what, let's just kill them, because there was no point. I was still gonna take a bunch of losses if I was to fight this manually and auto-resolving. Khalida has an insanely high regeneration rate of her army. Always move and stay in your region, and the second most important thing is always go in and camp stance to protect yourself against ambushes from the Skaven. Keep an eye on everyone in the area. You have 3 main actors in the area. You have the Exiles of Khorne, you have Queek, and then you have the Crooked Moon Miniaturous Gits. These are your main things that you need to be taking care of and you need to be aware of. Diplomacy is going to be very important, especially since it's one of Khalida's main faction bonuses. Keep that in mind. Abandon this out and focus on the mountains. They're more defensible, they are richer, and they give you more power. Now, on this turn, I was quite lucky. This time around, Queek was smashed because he was fighting multiple other wars, and I managed to get this settlement for relatively no effort whatsoever. Sometimes I've played this campaign 3 times to test it, and oftentimes this is where I end up fighting Queek, and he usually has a very weak army with 1 artillery piece, so keep that in mind when you're fighting him. In Lamia, build walls, you're gonna need them, and then start building either gemstone if you're gonna trade, or if you're not gonna trade, build movement for your units. It's up to you what you're gonna do. Sentinels, you can start building into growths, whatever you choose. Normally at this point I'm trading with the dwarves, so the fact that I wasn't trading, I went for growth to build more. Turn 14 is when you get your second lord and recruit them at Lamia to defend Lamia in case it is assaulted, and just build them up. Then get the quickening, allowing your archers to reload faster and have more ammo. Having more ammo allows you to have better auto resolve. And this is the final battle that I will show in this guide, is how to take out Clan Moor's settlements. Caracas, pretty much all of their settlements are very similar, and if you're gonna go in a fair fight, you're gonna lose. They have a lot of troops, they have a lot to chew through, but this is not a fair fight because you're fighting Skaven. You're allowed to cheese them as much as possible. So if you follow this guide, you're absolutely fine. Attack from this angle, this way. There's only one tower, and break the tower with your artillery. After you've done so, use your heroes to try and not get your armies damaged, and keep in mind the man is below. So whenever you get a man is below, focus your infantry on it to shatter it as fast as possible. They don't have war bombs yet, so you're absolutely okay. Then break the wall, and once you've broken through the wall, just go in with your heroes, dodge the enemies, and since this is a very elongated city and they are on foot, and your heroes right now should either be on a chariot or on a horse, you're able to run to the capture point, capture it, and it is an easy fight. If you want to also distract the enemy further, move your archers close to the wall and start shooting them. This way, even though they start running away from the wall to try and defend the capture point at the back, they will start coming back to the wall because they feel threatened, essentially making the AI very confused and waste a lot of time trying to decide where to go and how to do. Capture the main capture point, which is easy to hold even if they catch up, and especially if you get your Doom Prince on a horse, this is amazing because the Doom Prince can take a beating. Be careful with your units because they tend to send one of their heroes outside if they have one, but in reality Khalida is just chilling over here, and it is a victory with minimal losses because it is a really easy fight. Now you do this for all of the Skaven settlements in the area, and pretty much Clan Moors will die. At this point Clan Moors has almost no army left. This is the losses I took from that fight. It is absolutely ridiculously low. Clan Moors will have lost almost everything. The biggest fight that's left with Clan Moors is dealing with Queek's army, and with Queek's army it's relatively weak, and at this point I also had two armies. I had a lot of defense, so I was able to deal with it very easily. As you can see here, it was just a joke. Queek was on the defensive and we just destroyed him. Also Khalida gets you start leveling her up and she becomes more powerful. What you need to be aware of in this situation is where you want to expand. I've declared war on the Exiles of Khorne after this, and I kept fighting, but in reality it is not worth putting in the guide, as it is very situational according to decisions you want to take, according to actions you want to take, and the direction you want to take the guide. I hope you found this ultimate guide for Khalida as good as it gets. It's one of the easiest ways to start a very strong campaign. Obviously there are other ways of playing the campaign, but that is up to you. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a lovely day. Bye bye.